Did you know that crows are true geniuses? These remarkable birds exhibit intelligence on par with primates and even young children. They can recognize human faces, hold grudges, and remember those who treat them kindly or badly. But their skills go far beyond memory. Crows are one of the few non-human species to craft tools. They bend wires into hooks, shape leaves into scoops, and use sticks to fish out insects from tight crevices. Some species, like the New Caledonian crow, solve multi-step puzzles requiring foresight and planning. They cache food across hundreds of hiding spots and recall them months later. In group settings, they use complex vocal signals to communicate warnings, plan ambushes, or share news. These feathered masterminds have even been trained to distinguish shapes, colors, and sequences, demonstrating problem-solving ability that rivals a 5-year-old child. Did you know that Neptune was discovered using math? Neptune is the only planet whose existence was predicted through mathematical calculations before it was seen through a telescope. In the 19th century, astronomers noticed that Uranus's orbit didn't match expectations, and they hypothesized that this was caused by the gravitational pull of an unknown planet. After calculations and extensive observation, Neptune was discovered, marking a triumph of science. This fact shows how powerful math is. It helped discover an entire planet long before it could be seen. What if I told you that there's a desert in Chile where it snows? The Atacama Desert is one of the driest places on Earth, but sometimes it snows. This rare natural phenomenon happens due to sudden climate changes and brings precipitation to regions that have not seen rain for years. Snow falling on the red sands of the desert creates an incredible contrast, making this place even more mysterious and astonishing. Tourists from around the world come to witness this unique natural wonder. Did you know that 90% of the population in the US lives on credit? This may be a shocking statistic, but this financial reality has become the norm for most Americans. The country is known for its consumer culture, with nearly 1 in 7 people holding 7 or more credit cards. This dependence on borrowed money is tied to high living standards and the availability of accessible credit, making the U.S. one of the leaders in consumption worldwide. Credit culture is an integral part of the economy and life for Americans, reflecting their approach to finances and lifestyle. Is it really true that goldfish forget in 3 seconds? That's actually a myth. Despite what cartoons and common beliefs suggest, goldfish have surprisingly good long-term memory. Research shows they can retain information for up to 5 months. In labs, they've been trained to push levers for food, recognize shapes and colors, and even return at specific times for feeding, showing an internal clock at work. They also remember tank mates and human caregivers, learning to associate certain people with food. When put in mazes, goldfish can recall the path to rewards even weeks later. Far from being the forgetful fools of the fish world, these creatures have complex neural processes and a keen sense of curiosity. So the next time someone jokes about a goldfish's short attention span, you'll know the truth is far more fascinating. Hell freezes over every year. Believe it or not, there's a town in Norway called Hell, and it literally freezes over every winter. This is not a joke. It's a real place on the map. And although the town is quite small, it attracts tourists every year thanks to its unusual name. Due to Norway's cold climate, Hell is covered in ice and snow every winter, often sparking jokes. When hell freezes over is a phrase that is rather common for the residents of this town. So if you want to see hell for yourself, head to Norway in the winter and watch it freeze over. Believe it or not, a tiger's roar can freeze its prey. Tigers don't just roar to be scary, they weaponize sound. Their roars include infrasound frequencies below the range of human hearing, which can travel over 3 kilometers and physically affect the animals that hear them. These vibrations resonate inside the prey's body, inducing a stunned, frozen reaction that some scientists describe as a kind of temporary paralysis. Unlike normal fear, this physiological response slows motor functions and clouds judgment, just long enough for the tiger to close in for the kill. Researchers believe the sound may interfere with brainwave patterns or trigger a panic reflex that immobilizes the animal. Nature has effectively given tigers a long-distance stun gun. It's an evolutionary superpower that dramatically increases their hunting success. Who would have thought that dragonflies are sky ninjas? These ancient insects are among the most skilled aerial hunters on Earth. With 4 wings that move independently, dragonflies can hover in place, pivot mid-air, and dart in any direction with precision. Their massive compound eyes provide nearly 360-degree vision, allowing them to track prey and dodge predators in a fraction of a second. They don't just chase prey, they intercept it mid-flight, calculating trajectory like a missile system. Their success rate? A mind-blowing 95%. In wind tunnel experiments, dragonflies were shown to anticipate the movements of their targets, adjusting their flight path accordingly. Their speed tops, 60 km/h, and their role in controlling pests like mosquitoes makes them not only amazing hunters, but crucial allies to human health. Have you ever wondered what states are? In the USA, states are not just administrative units, like provinces in other countries. Each state has its own unique culture, nature, traditions, and laws. They are not merely geographical divisions. States have their own rights, including the ability to enact laws that apply only within their boundaries. There are a total of 50 states, each with its own identity and distinctive features. For example, California is famous for its technological advancements, while Texas is known for its passion for independence and unique culture. The last state to join the USA was Hawaii in 1959, when it officially became part of America. Did you know there's a lava river that has been burning for decades? In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there's the Nyiragongo volcano, which is famous for its lava lake, the largest in the world. This volcanic lake is one of the few on the planet that remains almost constantly active. Its lava flows at an incredible speed, up to 100 kilometers per hour, creating a genuine river of fire. Since scientists began monitoring the volcano in the mid-20th century, this fiery flow has practically never stopped. The lava river of Nyiragongo is a stunning representation of nature's raw power, and its heat can be felt for kilometers around. Do you know what the deepest lake in the world is? Lake Baikal, located in Siberia, is the deepest freshwater lake on Earth. Its depth reaches 5,315 feet, which is about 1,620 meters. This natural wonder holds a wealth of secrets, preserving ancient layers of sediments and housing unique species found nowhere else. Lake Baikal is not just a body of water. It's a living archive of the planet's history, containing traces of Earth's evolution hidden deep within its waters. Did you know that Hattie McDaniel made Oscar history? In 1940, this remarkable actress became the first African-American woman to win an Academy Award, specifically for her performance as Mammy in the epic film Gone with the Wind. Hattie's win was groundbreaking, not just for her career, but for the representation of African Americans in Hollywood during a time of significant racial discrimination. The ceremony took place in Los Angeles, and despite the segregated environment of the time, she delivered a heartfelt acceptance speech that resonated with many. McDaniel's achievement paved the way for future generations of actors and actresses of color, showing them that success in the film industry was possible. Surprisingly, her landmark win came at a moment when roles for Black artists were often limited to stereotypes. Yet Hattie managed to shine through her talent and determination. Today, we celebrate her legacy and the doors she opened for others in film. How can we continue to honor her contributions to cinema and fight for greater diversity in Hollywood? Ever heard of Snake Island's deadly inhabitants? This Brazilian island, known as Ilha da Queimada Grande, is infamous for being home to the world's most venomous snake, the golden lancehead viper, or Bothrops insularis. Imagine a place where one snake can deliver a venom so potent that it can kill a human in just a few hours. That's why Brazilian authorities made the tough decision to ban access to the island, preserving both the safety of people and the unique ecosystem of these snakes. The golden lancehead is not only fascinating because of its deadly bite, but also due to its incredible adaptation. Over thousands of years, these vipers evolved in isolation, leading to distinctive traits unlike any other snake species. They primarily feed on the island's bird population, a meal made easy by their rapid and efficient hunting skills. So while the island is a dangerous spot for humans, it's a crucial habitat that highlights the importance of biodiversity and the delicate balance of nature. Visiting Snake Island is like stepping into a real-life thriller, but for now, only the snakes get to enjoy its unnerving beauty. Amazing, but on Venus, it rains sulfuric acid. Imagine a planet where it rains. But instead of water, drops of sulfuric acid fall from the sky. That's exactly what happens on Venus. In its atmosphere, clouds are composed of sulfuric acid, and when it rains, the drops evaporate before reaching the surface due to extremely high temperatures, which can reach up to 470 degrees Celsius. This is one of the reasons Venus is considered one of the most hostile planets for life in our solar system. If we ever explore Venus, this hellish atmosphere would be a serious challenge for future technology. Is it possible that wolves use howling as a GPS? More than haunting music of the wilderness, a wolf's howl is a survival tool of impressive sophistication. Each individual's voice carries unique frequency markers that other pack members instantly recognize, even from 16 kilometers away. But these calls do more than identify. They transmit complex information, warnings, location data, territorial markers, and rendezvous points. Wolves listen not just for the sound, but for its echoes, which tell them about surrounding terrain, obstacles, and safe paths. It's acoustic navigation, woven with social connection. Young wolves are taught to howl with precision, joining the chorus as apprentices of this sonic map. As wolves roam vast forests and mountains, howling serves as their GPS, walkie-talkie, and family thread all at once. Is it true that vultures are eco-engineers with acid stomachs? These birds are nature's frontline sanitation workers. Vultures have stomach acid so powerful it can dissolve lethal pathogens like anthrax, cholera, and botulism without harming them. When a carcass starts rotting, vultures arrive to neutralize it, turning disease-ridden flesh into harmless biomass in hours. Their digestive system is so efficient that even their droppings are less toxic than many other scavengers. But there's more. Inside their guts lives a unique community of microbes that assist in breaking down putrid meat. Without vultures, ecosystems would suffer from carcass buildup, leading to bacterial outbreaks and vermin infestations. Conservationists now view vultures as keystone species, crucial to biodiversity and public health. Their decline in some regions has already led to spikes in disease. These misunderstood birds aren't grotesque. They're guardians of balance. Did you know the largest diamond in the world weighed more than 3,000 carats? The Cullinan diamond, found in 1905 in South Africa, is the largest diamond ever discovered. It weighed a staggering 3,160 carats. This unique gem was divided into several pieces, some of which adorn the British royal regalia. This diamond is a true wonder of nature, and its size is simply breathtaking. Did you know that there's a stone forest on Earth? In China's Yunnan province, you'll find one of the most unique natural phenomena, the Shailan, or stone forest. This astonishing forest isn't made of trees, but of towering limestone pillars that rise towards the sky like jagged spikes of rock. The age of this extraordinary forest is over 270 million years. Erosion from rain and wind has sculpted the rocks into such bizarre shapes. For centuries, people have attributed mystical powers to this place, and local legends claim that spirits of nature inhabit Shailan. It's so majestic and mysterious, it almost looks like a set from a fantasy movie. The chewing gum pack that changed retail forever. Imagine that the first product ever sold with a barcode was a pack of Wrigley's chewing gum. This historic event took place on June 26, 1974, in a supermarket in Ohio. This moment marked the beginning of a new era in retail, where barcodes became standard for simplifying shopping and inventory tracking. Barcodes quickly became a global standard and are still used in every store today. So the next time you buy something with a barcode, remember that it all started with a simple pack of chewing gum. Did you know that the number of slot machines in Las Vegas roughly equals the population of Nevada? Each year, these machines generate about $10 billion for the city's economy, highlighting the importance of casinos as a revenue source. Las Vegas more than just entertainment. It is a massive industry that supports an entire state and significantly impacts the national economy. It turns out Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt. When we think of pyramids, Egypt is the first place that comes to mind. But here's a surprising fact. Sudan actually has more pyramids than Egypt. Egypt has about 138 pyramids, while Sudan boasts a whopping 255. These ancient structures, though less famous, represent a treasure trove of history yet to be discovered. If you love pyramids and ancient history, Sudan could be your next big adventure. Did you know Bank of America was originally called the Bank of Italy? One of the largest banks in the United States, Bank of America, was originally founded in 1904 in San Francisco as the Bank of Italy. Its founder, Amedeo Giannini, created the bank to serve immigrants and the working class. Over time, the bank expanded and eventually became the financial giant known today as Bank of America. This journey from a small bank for Italian immigrants to an international financial powerhouse is truly a story of success. Ever wondered why Thailand has such wild weather shifts? The truth is, Thailand boasts a tropical climate that serves up warm days nearly all year long, making it a favorite destination for sun seekers. However, not all parts of Thailand share the same hot vibes. In the northern region, especially in places like Chiang Mai, the winter months can be surprisingly cool, with temperatures dipping low enough to leave a dusting of frost. Folks there might even need a jacket when the sun goes down. Meanwhile, central and southern Thailand bask in the heat, often hitting a sizzling 35 degrees Celsius. These warmer areas, like Bangkok and the islands, are perfect for beach lovers looking to soak up those sunbeams. The country's varied elevations and geography create these fascinating weather contrasts, which adds to Thailand's charm. So whether you're climbing mountains or lounging on tropical beaches, the diverse climate means there's a perfect spot for everyone, every season. Why don't newborns cry tears? Newborn babies can cry, but they don't shed tears. How is that possible? Their tear glands are not fully developed. In fact, it can take several weeks for newborns to start crying with tears. So while babies can loudly express their dissatisfaction, you won't see real tears until sometime after birth. This is one of the little wonders that happen in the first weeks of a baby's life. Did you know that one of the most recognizable symbols of the United States, the Statue of Liberty, was a gift from France? The statue, installed in 1886, was presented as a token of friendship to strengthen the ties between the two countries. Interestingly, its architect was Gustave Eiffel, who later became famous for constructing the Eiffel Tower in Paris. The statue embodies not only freedom and democracy, but also the American dream, as it marked America's emergence as a global symbol for those seeking a better life. Notably, every anniversary of its installation is celebrated in France. Have you ever seen a double rainbow in the sky? A double rainbow is truly one of nature's most enchanting spectacles. Picture this. As sunlight breaks through after a storm, it hits raindrops hanging in the air, acting like tiny prisms that bend and split the light into a dazzling array of colors. This incredible optical phenomenon features two concentric rainbows, with the brighter, more vivid inner rainbow and a fainter outer one that appears in reverse order of colors. The deeper you observe, the more magic you can find. The outer rainbow is usually a lot wider and can sometimes take on a soft, pastel look. People often feel awe when witnessing this breathtaking display, and many cultures have linked double rainbows to good luck or even a sign of something special on the horizon. So the next time you see one, take a moment to appreciate the science behind it and revel in the beauty that nature offers. These colorful arcs remind us of the wonders that can emerge from rain and sunshine alike. Why is there a village in Norway where it's Christmas every day? In the Norwegian village of Drobak, a festive Christmas spirit lasts all year long. There's a Santa Claus museum, a postal service for sending holiday letters, and shops full of Christmas decorations. Even in summer, you can feel like it's winter, and the locals happily maintain this festive atmosphere. Tourists come here to experience a holiday wonderland, leaving with smiles and holiday cheer. Did you know that giraffes sleep for only minutes at a time? Despite their towering height and gentle nature, giraffes live under constant threat in the wild. As a result, they sleep very little, just 30 to 60 minutes per day, broken into brief naps lasting 5 to 10 minutes. Most of this sleep occurs while standing, thanks to a unique system of ligaments that locks their legs in place without muscle strain. Only in the safest conditions do giraffes lie down to enter REM sleep, curling their necks backward in a position that looks awkward but is surprisingly stable. Scientists believe this fragmented sleep pattern evolved as a defense mechanism, allowing giraffes to remain alert and flee quickly from predators. It's one of the shortest sleep durations in the animal kingdom, proving that vigilance often trumps rest when survival depends on it. How much do you think the world's most expensive pizza costs? In 2007, Scottish chef Domenico Crolla created the Royal Zero Roast 7 pizza, priced at a staggering $4,200. This gourmet pizza was topped with luxurious ingredients like edible gold flakes, caviar, smoked salmon, and venison marinated in champagne. It was auctioned off for charity, making it a culinary masterpiece worth its weight in gold. Now that's a slice of royal extravagance. Tiny plants, mighty power. Half of Earth's oxygen comes from the ocean. The oxygen we breathe is not only created by forests, but also by tiny marine organisms like plankton, algae, and seaweed. These little factories produce more than half of the planet's oxygen through photosynthesis. Thanks to sunlight, they transform carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is vital for all living beings on Earth. This amazing fact reminds us of the importance of the oceans and their role in sustaining life on our planet. Ever heard a mysterious hum? Discover the Tao's hum. This strange and low-pitched sound has intrigued people around the world, and it's often compared to the distant rumble of a diesel engine. Most commonly reported in places like the USA, UK, and Northern Europe, this elusive noise has left many scratching their heads. It got its name from Taos, New Mexico, where residents first reported it in the 1990s. In 1997, Congress took it seriously enough to ask researchers to investigate what on earth could be causing it. Despite extensive efforts, including sound analysis and community surveys, the source of the hum has baffled experts and remains unsolved. Some theories suggest it could be environmental factors or even industrial noise, yet no conclusive answers have emerged. Residents have described the hum as disruptive, affecting sleep and daily life. So next time you find yourself in one of those quiet spots, listen closely. You might just catch a glimpse of the Tao's hum, one of the world's biggest auditory mysteries. Could sea urchins use their spines for more than defense? At first glance, a sea urchin looks like a slow-moving, spiky ball, but these sharp protrusions are far more versatile than they seem. Sea urchins use their spines for locomotion, gently nudging themselves along rocks or coral reefs while their tube feet provide suction and control. The spines also act as sensory tools, detecting shifts in water flow and nearby movement. Some species even carry pieces of shell or debris with their spines for camouflage or protection. In many tropical varieties, spines are tipped with venom capable of stunning small prey or deterring predators. And deep beneath the surface, the spines work as a defense, shield, and even a mobility aid, turning the urchin into a quiet but efficient ecosystem engineer. Beneath the armor is a living machine, maintaining coral balance, cleaning the seabed, and surviving in some of the harshest marine environments on Earth. What if I told you that you can boil water just by shaking it? Yes, it's true, although practically impossible to do. If you shake a container of water fast and hard enough, you can create friction, which will raise the water's temperature. Theoretically, if you shake it quickly enough, you could even bring the water to a boil. This unusual physics experiment shows how mechanical energy can be converted into heat. While you won't be making tea this way, the mere possibility that shaking could boil water is astonishing. It's amazing, but the platypus is one of the strangest creatures on Earth. This incredible Australian animal, which looks like a mix of different creatures, has baffled scientists for centuries. The platypus lays eggs, produces milk for its young, and has venomous spurs on its hind legs. This combination of traits makes it one of the most unique mammals on the planet. Despite its odd characteristics, The platypus has lived on Earth for millions of years and remains a symbol of nature's mysteries and evolution. Did you know that lobsters live a long time, but they're not immortal? Contrary to popular belief, lobsters are not biologically immortal, but they do possess a fascinating secret, an enzyme called telomerase that helps repair their cells. This enzyme allows lobsters to keep reproducing DNA and regenerating cells, which contributes to their seemingly endless longevity. This remarkable ability has given rise to the myth of the immortal lobster. However, while lobsters can live for decades, they still eventually age. It's a fascinating glimpse into nature's strategies for longevity. Most people don't know this, but immigrants boost our economy. Foreign-born workers account for nearly 18% of the U.S. labor force, and their contributions are vital to our nation's success. These individuals bring a variety of skills and experiences that enhance creativity and drive innovation in multiple fields. For instance, think about the groundbreaking companies that started with immigrant founders, like Google and Tesla. In addition to starting businesses, immigrant workers fill critical roles in sectors like healthcare, engineering, and technology, areas that are essential for maintaining and growing our economy. Their diverse perspectives lead to new ideas and solutions, making the workplace more dynamic and responsive to change. Moreover, as these workers earn wages and pay taxes, they contribute to local economies, fund public services, and support community development. So next time you see a product or service that seems innovative, remember that foreign-born individuals might have played a significant role in its creation. Isn't it fascinating how they shape our world? Believe it or not, penguins coat themselves with a water-repellent layer. Braving the brutal cold of Antarctic waters, penguins rely on more than just fat for survival. They wear a built-in waterproof suit. At the base of their tail lies a uripygial gland that secretes a thick, oily substance. Penguins spread this oil across their feathers, using their beaks during grooming. The result? A perfectly sealed outer coat that locks in body heat and keeps icy water out. This not only helps them dive to great depths, but also lets them swim for hours without becoming waterlogged. Without this daily oiling, penguins would lose heat at catastrophic rates, up to 30% of their body warmth in just a minute. The waterproof barrier also increases buoyancy and streamlines their form, allowing smooth gliding through frigid seas. Their ability to coat themselves is not a luxury. It's a life-saving adaptation, crucial for one of Earth's harshest environments. Camels, the giants of the desert. Despite popular belief, camels didn't always live in deserts. They originally descended from ancient animals that roamed the forests of North America around 30 million years ago. Over time, they migrated to Africa and Asia, where their humps became an adaptation for surviving in hot climates. These humps, filled with fat, allow camels to go without water for up to 2 weeks. They can drink up to 50 liters of water at once, making them masters of survival in environments where other creatures would perish. Camels remain a vital part of life for many desert communities. Hard to believe, but borders can be peaceful. The Canada-US border stretches an impressive 5,525 miles, making it the longest international border in the world without military patrols. This unique aspect of the border fosters a sense of mutual trust and cooperation between the two nations. Both countries share not only vast landscapes, but also a strong economic partnership and cultural ties. Despite the extensive length, the border is marked by friendly customs and immigration regulations, rather than military presence. You might think of borders as places of conflict, but here it's about smooth passage and connection. People cross back and forth for work, family visits, or just to enjoy nature in places like the stunning national parks that straddle the line between the two countries. Interestingly, the peaceful nature of this border has allowed for a variety of joint initiatives, including environmental conservation projects and disaster responses. This friendly border shows that nations can coexist without tension, proving that sometimes peace really is the key to a flourishing relationship. Here's a wild fact about the Le Mans race. The 24 Hours of Le Mans is an incredible endurance race that stands out as the most prestigious of its kind in the world. Taking place annually in France, this grueling automotive contest challenges teams to race for a full 24 hours straight. Imagine racing all day and night with skills and precision at the forefront of every driver's mind. The event first kicked off in 1923 and has since become a legendary spectacle, drawing major manufacturers and racing teams from all over the globe. The course itself is a mix of public roads and a closed track, demanding everything from speed to strategy from drivers. With competitors often switching out mid-race, teamwork is essential. Their vehicles aren't just about raw power, they require brilliant engineering to last through the grueling hours while battling against the elements and each other. From heart-stopping turns to strategic pit stops, every moment is filled with excitement and risks. This race is truly a test of endurance for both the machines and the skill of the human drivers behind the wheel. Vultures and their cooling trick. Vultures have a unique way to stay cool in hot weather. Since they can't sweat, they've developed an alternative method. They poop on their own legs. The water in their droppings evaporates, cooling their skin. This process is called urohydrosis, and it also helps to sterilize their legs after coming into contact with decaying food. So if you ever see a vulture with white streaks on its legs, know that it's not just dirt. It's a clever way to beat the heat and keep clean. Nature certainly has its own surprises. Blind sight. How can someone see without realizing it? Imagine being blind but still being able to see movements and objects. This phenomenon is known as blind sight. It occurs in people with damage to the visual cortex. Even though they don't see in the conventional sense, they can intuitively detect the location of objects and even guess where they are moving. How is this possible? Other parts of the brain are still able to process visual information. This fascinating phenomenon makes us wonder about how much our brain does in the background without us even being aware of it. Wow, in some U.S. states, atheists are not allowed to hold public office. In the U.S., there are 7 states where atheists are legally prohibited from holding public office. This is intriguing, as America is known for its fight for religious freedom. However, in some states, laws still exist that restrict the rights of individuals in public service based on their religious beliefs. This issue remains relevant for many residents seeking legislative changes that would guarantee full religious freedom for all citizens. Polar bears are invisible to infrared cameras. Polar bears are true masters of camouflage. Thanks to their thick layer of fat and dense fur, they are perfectly insulated from the Arctic cold. But what's truly surprising is that these furry giants are almost invisible to infrared cameras. It's as if they have a natural invisibility cloak, making them the ultimate champions in the game of hide and seek. Good luck spotting them with a thermal camera. How can mysterious desert music frighten even the bravest? In the Sahara and other large sand deserts, you can hear an extraordinary sound often called the singing sands. When the wind blows over the surface of the dunes, the sand emits a deep hum as if an orchestra is playing an invisible symphony. This sound can be so powerful that it can be heard for miles. Some researchers think the sound is caused by the sand moving across the slopes, while local tribes believe it is the voices of desert spirits guarding their lands. Believe it or not, dolphins chat in an underwater chat room. Dolphins are far more than playful swimmers. They're acoustic geniuses of the deep. Using a combination of whistles, clicks, chirps, and burst pulses, they communicate complex messages about identity, mood, danger, and coordination. Each dolphin has a signature whistle, like a name, which it repeats to identify itself to others, even years after separation. More impressively, researchers have found syntax-like structures in their vocalizations. The order and length of sounds seem to follow consistent patterns, suggesting a form of grammar. Dolphins also use echolocation, emitting sound waves that bounce off objects, to see in murky waters and even assess internal states like pregnancy and others. In group hunts, dolphins synchronize clicks to corral fish or warn each other of threats. Their vocal universe is a true marine language, making the ocean one vast intelligent conversation. Is it true that you can see kangaroos on the streets in Australia? Absolutely true. In some Australian cities, there are so many kangaroos that they hop around the streets like regular pedestrians. They're especially common in Canberra, where kangaroos even cause traffic jams. Locals are used to this sight, but it's always a surprise for tourists. In these cities, there are even special signs warning drivers about tail-walking pedestrians. Why are plastic flamingos outnumbering real ones? You might be surprised to learn that in the United States, there are estimated to be more plastic flamingos than actual flamingos. This quirky fact dates back to the 1950s when Don Featherstone created the iconic pink lawn ornament. These cheerful, lifelike plastic replicas quickly became a popular decoration for front yards, symbolizing a fun, carefree attitude in American suburban life. While the actual flamingo population is concentrated mainly in Florida and parts of the Caribbean, the colorful plastic counterparts have spread like wildfire across the nation, spawning yard parties, art installations, and even the occasional prank or two. Today, they can be spotted on lawns and gardens and even on porches, often in entertaining poses. While we might not see many real flamingos waddling about, these fun plastic birds bring a pop of color and a smile to everyday life, reminding us of sunny beaches and warm weather no matter where we are. Can you believe that in the USA there was once a reign of spiders? In the small town of Golden, Colorado, in 2015, an unusual natural phenomenon occurred, which locals called the reign of spiders. Thousands of spiders fell from the sky, filling the streets and yards. Scientists explain this by the fact that spiders use a technique called ballooning, where they take off into the sky on their webs and travel great distances using wind. This phenomenon can be observed in various parts of the world, but such a massive rain shocked the locals. Imagine for a moment that you can survive on unemployment benefits in the U.S., but only very modestly. It is possible to live on unemployment benefits in the U.S., but life will be very modest. The public housing provided by the government is often located in areas with high crime rates. These neighborhoods quickly develop into crime-ridden ghettos, making living there unsafe. This creates a significant social divide among different population groups, and many Americans struggle to survive while trying to find any job. Hard to believe, but the largest iceberg was the size of Jamaica. The largest iceberg ever recorded broke off from the Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica in 1986. It was about 280 kilometers long and 80 kilometers wide, making its area comparable to the size of Jamaica. This gigantic iceberg was so massive, it could easily have housed entire cities. It drifted in the ocean for several years, slowly melting. Imagine for a moment that the narwhal's tusk is real. It looks like fantasy, but the narwhal's iconic spiral tusk is no mythical horn. It's a real sensory organ with astonishing function. This 3-meter-long tooth, emerging from the upper left jaw of most males, contains millions of nerve endings and is sensitive enough to detect changes in water temperature, salinity, and pressure. Scientists believe narwhals use it like a sonar antenna, guiding them through the Arctic's icy labyrinths. They've even observed tusking behavior, narwhals rubbing tusks together in what may be a form of communication or dominance display. Some cultures once believed these tusks came from unicorns. Today we know they're instruments of biological elegance and precision, part weapon, part sensor, part symbol. The narwhal's tusk is one of the most fascinating natural adaptations in the marine world. Tick saliva is hundreds of times stronger than morphine. It sounds incredible, but tick saliva contains compounds with anesthetic properties that are hundreds of times stronger than morphine. These natural painkillers allow ticks to attach to their hosts without causing pain. This fact has attracted the attention of scientists who are now researching the potential of using these compounds in medicine to create new pain relief methods. Who would have thought that tiny parasites could hide such immense medical potential? The first computer bug was a real bug. In 1947, a real moth flew into one of the first computers, causing it to malfunction. This unexpected visitor became the first documented computer bug. Since then, the term bug has been used to describe any glitch in a computer system. Who would have thought that a tiny moth could play such a big role in technological history? This little incident also gave rise to the term debugging, and the story remains a quirky part of tech lore. Did you know that the income gap in the U.S. is enormous? In the U.S., there is a significant income gap between the richest and the rest of the population. The wealth of the top 1% of Americans is equivalent to that of the bottom 90%. This economic divide continues to grow, leading to social tension and an increase in protests over inequality. More and more Americans are concerned about how the wealthy keep accumulating riches while the rest of the population faces economic hardships. Can you believe that a tick can dine for up to 10 days? Ticks are true masters of long feasts. These tiny parasites can stay latched onto their host for up to 10 days, feeding without interruption. Imagine a dinner that lasts not just a few hours, but almost an entire week. The tick literally buries itself into the feast, slowly but surely enjoying its meal. While the host may not even realize that someone is indulging in their blood, the tick is having the time of its life. These little gourmets are so adapted to slow eating that they can store nutrients and feed on them for a long time. Though it sounds unpleasant to us, for ticks, it's a gourmet experience. If there were a competition for slow eating, ticks would surely be the champions. Believe it or not, cuttlefish change not only color, but also skin texture. The cuttlefish, a cousin of the octopus and squid, is a living billboard of biological illusion. With astonishing speed, it can shift its skin through millions of color combinations using 3 types of pigment cells: chromatophores, iridophores, and leucophores, layered in dynamic harmony. But it goes further. Muscular papillae under the skin allow it to raise bumps, spikes, or wrinkles, mimicking the texture of coral, sand, or seaweed. This allows the cuttlefish to not only blend visually into its surroundings, but also physically disappear into the landscape. What's more, cuttlefish make these transformations based on sight and memory. They study the environment and decide the best disguise, revealing learning and problem-solving abilities. This shape-shifting skill is both defense and offense, allowing them to hide from predators or sneak up on prey without ever being noticed. Why is space black? It's connected to Olbers's paradox, which explains why the sky is dark despite the countless stars in the universe. Though there are many stars, their light doesn't fill all of space for several reasons. First, the universe is expanding, and many stars are moving away from us so fast that their light can't reach Earth. Second, there's a cosmic horizon beyond which we cannot see, making stars beyond that point invisible to us. Who would have thought that China has entire ghost cities? In China, there are cities built for millions of people, but they remain almost empty. For example, Ordos is a city designed for 1 million residents, but in reality, only a few thousand people live there. These are huge quarters with skyscrapers that have never been inhabited. The reasons for this disappearance of people are not entirely clear, making these ghost cities a real mystery for urban researchers. Can you imagine that the U.S. controls 80% of global maritime trade? In fact, the U.S. is a major force in global shipping routes. 80% of world trade moves via the oceans, and surprisingly, the U.S. controls a significant portion of this traffic. In the 20th century, Americans recognized how to leverage their geographic potential to dominate the global economy. For a long time, trade routes ran through the Atlantic Ocean, but starting in the 1980s, an equal amount of goods began to be transported via the Pacific Ocean. This allowed the U.S. to expand its influence and gain an advantage in trade with Asian countries. Believe it or not, the world's smallest volcano is just 13 meters high. The smallest volcano in the world is called Cuexcomate, located in Puebla, Mexico. This tiny volcano stands only 13 meters tall and has a width of 8 meters, making it quite miniature compared to others. It was formed in 1064 due to an eruption from the nearby Popocatépetl volcano. While Cuexcomate is classified as dormant, it sometimes releases steam and sulfur gases, reminding visitors of its volcanic nature. Fun fact, you can actually climb this volcano, making it a perfect adventure for those looking to scale a pint-sized peak. Brazil, the country with the greatest biodiversity. Brazil is home to 15 to 20% of all the world's biodiversity. It houses more than 120,000 species of invertebrates, about 9,000 species of vertebrates, and over 4,000 species of plants. Every year, around 700 new species of animals and plants are discovered in Brazil. This rich biodiversity is not only vital for ecology, but also holds immense potential for economic development and scientific discovery. Did you know that the U.S. seized Panama for the canal? In 1903, when Panama was still part of Colombia, the U.S. engaged in a real political maneuvering. On November 4th, an uprising broke out in Panama, and the U.S. Navy blocked Colombian forces from suppressing the revolt. Just 2 days later, on November 6th, the U.S. recognized Panama's independence. Soon after, a treaty was signed granting the U.S. control over the Panama Canal, as well as the right to station troops in Panama and construct the canal. In exchange, the U.S. paid $10 million and an annual rent of $250,000. The canal opened new trade routes, but most importantly, provided the U.S. with a strategic advantage, allowing for rapid military deployment between oceans. Hard to believe, but France has a homeless crisis. Despite its glamorous image of fashion, fine dining, and exquisite art, France has been grappling with significant social challenges, particularly homelessness. With over 330,000 individuals currently without a home, it leads the European Union in this critical issue, marking a staggering 130% increase since 2022. The situation reflects a growing wealth gap, where the richest 10% of the population holds nearly 50% of the nation's wealth, while the poorest 10% cling to a mere 2%. This divide starkly contrasts the bustling life of major cities like Paris and Lyon, where luxury and economic opportunity abound, with the realities of rural areas that often lack basic services and viable job prospects. Many people face not just a lack of housing, but also limited access to education and healthcare, making it tough to break free from the cycle of poverty. As the country's allure and elegance mask these pressing issues, it begs the question, how can such a beautiful nation address these inequalities and support its most vulnerable citizens? Is it possible that earthworms can regenerate their bodies? Yes, it's true. If an earthworm loses part of its body, it can regenerate the lost segment. However, contrary to popular myths, if you cut a worm in half, only the part with the head will survive. Regeneration in earthworms is a fascinating process, but it's not as magical as some may think. Imagine being able to regrow parts of your body as if nothing ever happened. Did you know that armadillos can transmit leprosy to humans? Armadillos are one of the few animals that can transmit the disease known as leprosy to humans. Though rare today, this infection can be passed from animal to human through contact with armadillos. Leprosy is caused by bacteria and is usually transmitted after prolonged contact with an infected animal. Scientific studies have shown that armadillos can carry the same strains of bacteria as humans, making them unique in the animal kingdom. Although this disease can be treated with antibiotics, it's worth exercising caution when interacting with these cute but potentially dangerous creatures. Who would have thought that such a peculiar little animal could be a carrier of an ancient disease? Ever thought about visiting North Korea? If you're daydreaming about a trip to the mysterious land of North Korea, prepare for a surprising journey even before you pack your bags. This country is known for being one of the most closed-off places on Earth, which means getting a visa is not just a walk in the park. In fact, the process can feel a bit like an elaborate puzzle. First off, most travelers cannot enter North Korea freely. They must go through an approved tour guide or agency. You can't just hop on a plane and land wherever you please. The government keeps tight control over the travel process, so visitors are usually only allowed in designated areas, and you will be closely monitored during your stay. The visa application itself involves a lot of paperwork, including a detailed itinerary and sometimes even personal information. Unlike other countries where a simple application can get you a visa quickly, here patience and precision are key. But for those adventurers willing to embrace the challenge, the reward is a glimpse into a world that feels like it hasn't changed in decades. Did you know Filipino food is a delicious adventure? Picture yourself stepping into the vibrant world of Filipino cuisine, where every meal tells a story. Iconic dishes like tocino, sinigang, and sisig are just the tip of the iceberg. Tocino, a mouth-watering fried pork dish, is known for its sweet and savory glaze that makes it a breakfast staple. often enjoyed with fluffy garlic rice. Then there's sinigang, a tangy and comforting soup that hits all the right notes with its mix of meat, veggies, and that unmistakable sour flavor, usually from tamarind. It's perfect for rainy days or just when you need a warm hug in a bowl. And let's not forget sisig, which takes sizzling pork to another level, served on a hot plate and bursting with flavor. It's an absolute must-try. This diverse culinary landscape reflects the country's rich history, blending influences from Spanish, Chinese, and indigenous cultures. Each dish offers a taste of Filipino hospitality and creativity, inviting you to join in the celebration every time you take a bite. Step back in time to ancient Rome's fierce gladiators. In the bustling heart of the Roman Empire, where the Colosseum echoed with cheers and roars, gladiators were more than just fighters. They were trained warriors who honed their skills in special schools known as ludi. These schools were run by expert trainers called lanistas, who meticulously crafted the gladiators' abilities, preparing them for the brutal arena battles that captivated audiences. Imagine the early mornings at these training grounds, where the air was thick with the sound of clashing swords and the shouts of eager trainers. Gladiators practiced relentlessly, mastering techniques not only in combat but also in teamwork, as they often fought alongside each other in pairs or groups. The ludi were places of discipline and endurance, where the fighters learned to withstand both physical pain and psychological pressure. While they were often seen as mere entertainers, these warriors led complex lives, forming bonds with their trainers and fellow fighters, and sometimes even becoming celebrities of their time. The life of a gladiator was harsh, but through rigorous training, they became symbols of bravery and skill, forever etched in history. Did you know ancient Romans mastered 3 key skills? In ancient Rome, education for the elite wasn't just about reading and writing. It revolved around 3 essential arts: grammar, rhetoric, and logic. Grammar was all about mastering language, helping students understand how to communicate clearly and effectively. Imagine learning to construct sentences that make people sit up and pay attention. Then there was rhetoric, the art of persuasion, which taught them how to sway opinions and win arguments through powerful speeches. This skill was crucial because public speaking was a big part of Roman life, especially in politics and law. And let's not forget logic, the study of reasoning. It trained minds to think critically, analyze arguments, and spot flaws in reasoning. Together, these 3 arts formed a foundation for educated Romans, allowing them to be influential leaders, persuasive speakers, and sharp thinkers. It's fascinating how these skills laid the groundwork for modern education and are still relevant today. So next time you write or debate, remember you're continuing a tradition that goes back to the heart of ancient Rome. The accident that changed the world, the invention of the pop cycle. Have you ever wondered how the popsicle was invented? It was pure accident. In 1905, an 11-year-old boy named Frank Epperson left a mixture of soda water and a stick outside overnight. The next morning, the mixture had frozen, and thus the first popsicle on a stick was accidentally invented. Years later, when Frank grew up, he began selling his frozen treat, which quickly became a hit. His children suggested naming it a popsicle, and the name stuck. That's how a simple mistake became a beloved dessert for millions around the world. How would you react if you found out that the U.S. military funds most of the world's technology? The model by which the U.S. military finances technological developments has been known since the 1960s, when they began supporting the creation of microchips and the internet, initially aimed at protecting against nuclear strikes. These technologies were later adapted by entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, becoming the foundation for commercial products that are now in every home and even in every hand in the form of smartphones. Military funding has sparked many technological revolutions, illustrating how military support and innovation go hand in hand with economic development. Guess what really drives Zion Canyon's beauty? This stunning location, the most famous feature of Zion National Park, was skillfully carved by the Virgin River over millions of years. As the river meandered through the landscape, it shaped towering red sandstone cliffs and created unique rock formations that attract nature lovers and adventurers alike. These majestic cliffs can rise over 1,000 feet, giving visitors breathtaking views as they hike along the trails. The vibrant colors of the sandstone, ranging from deep reds to warm oranges, change throughout the day as the sunlight dances across the rocks, creating a living canvas of beauty. Whether you're spending a day exploring the Zion Canyon Scenic Drive or tackling challenging hikes like Angel's Landing, the diverse landscapes and rich ecosystem capture hearts and inspire awe. Wildlife, such as deer and various bird species, also call this area home, further enhancing its charm. So the next time you think of breathtaking natural wonders, remember how the Virgin River has sculpted this incredible gem. How does nature achieve such artistry? Did you know the shape of Pringles chips is a mathematical masterpiece? When you enjoy crispy Pringles chips, you probably don't think about how their shape wasn't created by chance. This shape is called a hyperbolic paraboloid, and it allows the chips to resist breaking as easily as regular potato slices. Moreover, this geometric design is perfect for stacking chips neatly in their iconic cylindrical can. So, these chips are not only delicious, but also a true work of mathematical art. Elephants fear bees, and that saves farms. Elephants are giants of the savannah, but there's something tiny that makes them run away. Bees. African farmers discovered that elephants are terrified of these buzzing insects. Using this fear, they started setting up beehives along the borders of their fields. These beehive fences create a natural bee barrier, and elephants, hearing the buzzing, avoid these areas to avoid painful stings. This ingenious solution helps farmers protect their crops from being trampled, maintaining a peaceful coexistence with these majestic animals without resorting to violence. Nature truly is the best ally. Interestingly, the British flag consists of 3 elements. The flag of the United Kingdom, known as the Union Jack, is a combination of the flags of Scotland, England, and Ireland. This flag was created in 1801 with the official union of Great Britain and Ireland. Despite political changes and even Ireland's independence in 1922, this flag remains a symbol of the country, reflecting its diverse historical heritage. The spring equinox. More than just a change of seasons. The first day of spring is known as the vernal equinox. The term vernal comes from the Latin word for spring, while equinox means equal night in Latin. During this time, day and night are nearly equal in length. An interesting fact, according to a study on Facebook, spring is the season when couples are most likely to break up. Perhaps the balance of day and night encourages people to seek new beginnings. Who knew that an astronomical event could have an impact on our personal lives? Could this really be possible? Elephants mourning their dead? Elephants don't just live in families. They feel them. When a member of the herd dies, elephants often approach the body, gently touching bones with their trunks, staying for hours or even days. They've been observed revisiting grave sites years later, standing silently and displaying clear signs of grief. In life, elephants express joy through trumpeting and rumbling vibrations, which can travel several kilometers underground. They form friendships, recognize themselves in mirrors, and help sick or injured herdmates. Neuroscientists have discovered brain structures in elephants linked to emotional intelligence and empathy, similar to humans. Their memories are legendary, and so is their capacity for compassion. In a world that often underestimates animal emotion, elephants remind us that deep feeling is not exclusive to our species. It thunders across the savannah, one rumble at a time. The first footprint on the moon could stay there for over 1 million years. When Neil Armstrong made his famous footprint on the surface of the moon in 1969, little did he know that it could remain there for millions of years. Because the moon has no atmosphere, there are no processes like wind or rain to erase the print. This makes the moon a kind of time capsule, where astronauts' footprints could remain almost forever. That footprint will always be a symbol of humanity's drive to explore and conquer space. Did you know your brain consumes 20% of your body's energy? Despite accounting for only 2% of your body weight, the brain consumes a whopping 20% of all the energy your body produces. This means that every time you think hard or solve complex tasks, your brain is working like an energy-hungry organ. Next time you feel mentally exhausted, remember, your brain is truly burning calories as if it's training for a marathon. Why is kissing camels banned in Egypt? And what could happen if you disobey? In Egypt, you can find signs warning, "No camel kissing." And it's not as strange as it sounds. These animals can be unpredictable, and they also carry infections that can be transmitted to humans. Despite their friendly appearance, camels can show aggression, especially when they feel threatened. It's better to keep a safe distance and settle for a photo to avoid any unpleasant surprises. Imagine for a moment that Stonehenge is older than the Egyptian pyramids. Stonehenge is a mysterious monument that remains one of the world's greatest enigmas. It was built around 3000 BC, making it older than the oldest pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt, which was constructed around 2500 BC. It is unknown how ancient people managed to erect such a grand structure, and importantly, why they did so. This makes Stonehenge an important archaeological and cultural landmark. Ever thought about why Arctic foxes change their coats twice a year? The Arctic fox isn't just cute, it's one of nature's most perfectly dressed survivalists. In summer, its fur is thin and brownish gray, blending with rocks and tundra. Come winter, it transforms into a dense, snowy white coat that traps heat and reflects icy light. This fur is so well insulated that Arctic foxes don't start shivering until temperatures drop below 50 degrees Celsius. Even their paws are covered in fur, acting like snow boots that help them grip icy surfaces while conserving heat. The seasonal change doesn't just offer camouflage, it allows the fox to remain active and invisible across vastly different landscapes. While other animals migrate or hibernate, the Arctic fox adapts in place, proving that evolution sometimes sews its most elegant solutions into a single changing coat. How would you react if you found out that there are over 100 words for rain in Britain? It's not a joke. The English language boasts more than 100 words to describe different types of rain. This emphasis on describing precipitation is due to the constant rainy weather in the UK. And if you ever find yourself in Britain on a rainy day, remember that the best way to cope with the dreary weather is by having a cup of tea, which is also an important part of British culture. Believe it or not, the world's oldest musical instrument was made from vulture bone. The world's oldest musical instrument is a flute made from vulture bone, and it's 35,000 years old. It was discovered in a cave in Germany and serves as ancient evidence of early musical craftsmanship. The flute has 5 finger holes, hinting at its musical potential. This artifact shows that ancient people used music for rituals, communication, and entertainment, adding melodies to their daily lives. Ever tasted a pizza worth thousands? In 2007, Scottish chef Domenico Crolla created a culinary masterpiece known as the Pizza Royal 0-7, and it came with a jaw-dropping price tag of $4,200. This pizza is not your regular round pie. It's a luxurious treat designed for those who want to indulge. Picture this. It's topped with extravagant ingredients like edible gold, which glitters as you take a bite, and caviar that adds a salty burst of flavor. But wait, there's more. It features tender lobster and smoked salmon, bringing a taste of the sea to your slice. To truly elevate its opulence, the pizza includes champagne-soaked venison, adding a touch of finesse that's hard to resist. The icing on the cake, or should I say the topping on the pizza, is its purpose. This pricey dish was auctioned off for charity, with all proceeds going to a good cause. So while we might not all be able to afford a slice of this ridiculously expensive pizza, it certainly makes for an interesting conversation starter about what defines luxury dining. The first speeding ticket. 8 miles per hour is too fast. In 1896, the first ever speeding ticket was issued in England. Walter Arnold was caught driving at 8 miles per hour, about 13 kilometers per hour, which was 4 times faster than the speed limit. A policeman on a bicycle caught up with the offender and fined him. This event became historic, and today's road traffic has left such speeds far behind. Let's break a common myth today. Crocodile tears aren't about emotion. The popular phrase, crocodile tears, implies fake sadness, but it originates from a real biological process. When crocodiles feed, powerful jaw muscles press on glands that trigger tear secretion. not from sorrow, but as a way to clean their eyes. These reptiles often dine on sandy shores, and the tears help flush out irritants and maintain clear vision. The phenomenon was first recorded in the 14th century and misunderstood as emotional weeping, which later gave rise to the metaphor. In truth, crocodiles are cold-blooded predators, driven by instinct rather than empathy. However, their tear mechanism serves a crucial function. Without it, they'd risk infections or impaired hunting ability. Interestingly, researchers are studying similar lacrimal responses in other species to better understand how tears evolved not just for emotion, but as tools of hygiene and protection. The surprising trend in Japan: pets preferred over children. Imagine this. In Japan, there are now more pets than children. This surprising fact highlights modern social trends. More and more Japanese people are choosing to have pets instead of children. Statistics show that the number of pets in Japan exceeds the number of children under the age of 15. This is due to many factors, such as the high costs of raising children, career ambitions, and limited housing space. Pets require less time and resources, but still bring joy and a sense of care. This trend reflects global changes in the perception of family life and values in different countries around the world. Did you know that the pale blue dot is a photo of Earth taken from 6 billion kilometers away? This iconic image of our planet was captured by the Voyager 1 spacecraft in 1990 from a distance of 3.7 billion miles, or 6 billion kilometers. In the photo, Earth appears as a tiny, barely visible dot in the vast expanse of space. It reminds us of how small and vulnerable our planet is in the grand scale of the universe, prompting reflection on our place in the world. It's hard to believe, but the war between Britain and Zanzibar lasted just 38 minutes. In August 1896, Britain and its colony Zanzibar engaged in the shortest armed conflict in history, lasting only 38 minutes. Although this war was brief, it remains a significant episode in British history, vividly demonstrating the power of the empire at that time. Did you know about Hawaii's Lost Kingdom attempt? In 1870, a bold group of Americans made a surprising move by trying to establish the Kingdom of Hawaii, seeking independence from the United States. This ambitious plan reflected their desire for self-governance and a different future for the islands. The leaders aimed to capitalize on Hawaii's unique culture and resources, thinking it would thrive separately from U.S. control. However, despite their enthusiasm and plans, the effort faced significant challenges, including local opposition and political complications. Fast forward to 1898, and Hawaii's fate took a different turn when it officially became a U.S. territory. This move dramatically altered the island's future, integrating them into a broader national framework and paving the way for Hawaii's eventual statehood. The fascinating history of Hawaii's independence attempt showcases the complex interplay of power, culture, and identity during a transformative period in American history. How might things have been different if they had succeeded? Could this really be possible? Electric eels zap with 600 volts. Electric eels, native to South America's murky Amazon waters, aren't actually eels but knife fish, and they've evolved one of the most extraordinary hunting adaptations: electric shock. They can generate bursts of up to 600 volts using stacks of electrocytes, specialized cells that act like biological batteries. By rapidly discharging these cells, the eel stuns prey or fends off threats. Incredibly, they can modulate the intensity and frequency of their shocks, using weaker pulses for navigation and communication, and stronger ones to immobilize prey. Some even emit double shocks to reveal hiding prey in mud. Indigenous tribes respected them as both dangerous and mystical creatures. Today, electric eel physiology is inspiring bioengineers to create soft, flexible energy sources for medical implants and underwater devices. They're not just predators, they're living power plants swimming through history and science alike. What if everything you knew about Greenland was marketing? When Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland in the late 10th century for committing murder, he sailed west and discovered a vast icy island. Knowing settlers wouldn't be excited by endless snow, he named it Granland, Greenland, to make it sound lush and appealing. This wasn't a mistake, but a calculated piece of Viking-era real estate branding. The southern tip of Greenland, where he landed, does have green valleys in summer, but over 80% of the island is covered by a massive ice sheet. Still, the name sparked curiosity and drew colonists across the sea. It worked so well that Norse settlements thrived there for centuries. The name outlived the colonies, embedding itself in maps and minds worldwide. In truth, Greenland's name is more fantasy than fact, proof that words can reshape perception just as powerfully as swords or sails. What remarkable feature does Queen Elizabeth II have in her long career? Queen Elizabeth II is the longest reigning monarch in world history, having served on the British throne for 70 years. During her reign, the country has undergone numerous historical changes, and the Queen herself has become a symbol of stability for the nation. Over the years of her reign, the United Kingdom has experienced many political, social, and economic shifts, but her dedication to duty and unique ability to remain at the center of the country's political life have been key aspects of her leadership. Wonder how blue whales communicate underwater? These enormous creatures, the largest animals on the planet, have a fascinating way of connecting with one another, thanks to their powerful songs. Blue whales produce low-frequency calls that can travel across vast distances in the ocean. These calls are like underwater whispers that travel for hundreds of miles, allowing them to communicate with potential mates or other whales. It's almost as if they're sending text messages, but through sound. Researchers believe these songs also help whales navigate the deep, dark waters, guiding them through the vast and sometimes treacherous oceanic depths. What's truly incredible is that these sounds can be so deep that human ears might struggle to hear them. They fall below the range of typical human hearing. Moreover, these songs not only serve practical purposes, but also play a role in social bonding. Next time you ponder ocean life, remember these gentle giants are not just roaming the seas. They are actively singing and chatting, creating the largest symphony on Earth. Kiwi, the bird that can't fly but rules New Zealand. The kiwi bird is not just a national symbol of New Zealand, it's a true star. Despite having wings, the kiwi can't fly, but that doesn't stop it from being an icon of its country. These small birds are known for their unique appearance and habits. They are nocturnal and use their keen sense of smell to find food. The kiwi is so important to New Zealand that the locals call themselves Kiwi. This proves that even the smallest and most unusual bird can become the symbol of an entire nation. Just imagine if penicillin had been tested on the wrong animal. In 1929, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, but its path to becoming the miracle drug of the 20th century almost ended in disaster. Scientists had to test it for safety, and the original plan was to use guinea pigs. But guinea pigs react badly to penicillin. It's toxic to their unique gut flora. Fortunately, researchers chose to test on mice and rabbits instead, which tolerated it well. Had they used guinea pigs, penicillin might have been discarded as dangerous. That twist of fate changed medical history. Penicillin saved millions during World War II and launched the antibiotic era. The wrong test subject could have cost the world decades of progress and countless lives. This moment is a powerful reminder that scientific breakthroughs often hinge on decisions that seem small but prove monumental. Can you imagine thousands of redheads parading through one city? In Tilburg, Netherlands, something magical happens each year. Over 20,000 natural redheads from more than 80 countries gather for Redhead Days. What began as a photography project grew into a global celebration of genetic rarity, identity, and pride. With parades, group portraits, storytelling, art workshops, and music, it's a sea of copper, auburn, and strawberry blonde, like nowhere else on Earth. Attendees exchange tips on hair care, sun protection, and dealing with stereotypes. But this isn't just about hair, it's about connection. Redheads make up less than 2% of the global population, and here they find community and confidence. The festival proves that diversity deserves more than tolerance. It deserves joyful, unapologetic celebration. Did you know chickens are descendants of tyrannosaurs? The next time you see a chicken, think about this. You're looking at a distant descendant of the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex. Scientific research has shown that chickens and some other modern birds share more traits with these prehistoric predators than any other living animal. This genetic link between chickens and dinosaurs may seem strange, but it's yet another fascinating example of how evolution shapes species. Who would have thought that the mighty T-Rex would one day evolve into a humble chicken? You'll never look at chickens the same way again. Can you imagine that trees can make it rain? Yes, trees not only produce oxygen, but also help form rain clouds. This happens through a process called transpiration. When trees release water vapor through their leaves, the vapor rises into the atmosphere, where it condenses and forms rain clouds. This natural process shows just how essential trees are to maintaining the water cycle on our planet. Every forest is not only a source of oxygen, but also a key part of the water cycle, without which Earth would be a very different place. Did you know kiwis were once called Chinese gooseberries? This quirky little fruit has quite an interesting backstory. Originally discovered in China in the early 20th century, it was aptly named the Chinese gooseberry due to its sweet and tangy flavor, reminiscent of the beloved gooseberry. However, everything changed when the fruit made its way to New Zealand. In a clever marketing move, New Zealand growers decided to rename it kiwi after the fluffy, brown, and flightless kiwi bird, which is a national symbol of the country. This new name not only made the fruit sound more exotic and appealing, but also connected it to its new home. The kiwi quickly gained popularity around the world, and today it is loved for its vibrant green color, unique texture, and delightful taste. Plus, the kiwi is packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber, making it a nutritious snack that's fun to eat. So next time you enjoy this little powerhouse, remember its journey from Chinese gooseberry to kiwi and appreciate the creativity behind its name. Why does Italy have a bell tower that sings? In the quiet town of Cefalù, Sicily, stands an unusual bell tower that produces melodic sounds when the wind whistles through it. This effect is created by narrow slits in the tower's structure that transform the airflow into music resembling organ sounds. Locals call it the voice of the tower, believing it preserves the memory of ancient times. Tourists from around the world come to hear this unique melody on cloudy, windy days, filling the streets with a mystical sound. Is it really true that lakes can be colorful? The Spotted Lake in British Columbia, Canada, is a stunning natural wonder that brings this idea to life. During the summer months, when the heat increases, the lake's saline waters evaporate, leaving behind a dazzling display of vibrant colors. The lake is rich in minerals, including magnesium sulfate, calcium, and sodium, which create colorful pools that resemble painters' palettes scattered across its surface. Each year, visitors gaze in awe at the distinctive shades of blue, green, yellow, and white that emerge, making it a popular spot for photographers and nature lovers alike. Interestingly, the mineral-rich waters also have a story to tell, as they hold cultural significance for the indigenous people of the region who use them for traditional healing practices. While the lake's beauty is captivating, it's essential to appreciate it from a distance, as swimming is not permitted due to the fragile ecosystem. So, next time you think of lakes, remember that not all are just blue or green. Some can truly surprise you with their colorful charm. Why did ancient Romans wear togas? The toga was a symbol of Roman civic authority and status. Only free men could wear it, and putting it on incorrectly was considered shameful. But it wasn't just about fashion. The toga was highly impractical and required constant adjusting, signifying that its wearer was above manual labor. Plus, it was so hot and uncomfortable that Romans only wore it on special occasions. Who would have thought ancient fashion could be so complicated and impractical? Goosebumps, an evolutionary artifact from our ancestors. Have you ever wondered why we get goosebumps? This phenomenon is linked to our ancient ancestors. Long ago, when humans and animals had more body hair, this reaction helped them appear larger and more intimidating to predators, while also retaining heat in cold weather. When tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles contract, the hair stands up, creating a fluffy effect. Today, goosebumps are a leftover from our evolutionary past, but they no longer serve the important function they once did. Nowadays, goosebumps are more often triggered by cold or strong emotions. So next time you feel goosebumps, Remember, they are a part of your ancient defense system. Did you know the Nile is the longest river in the world? The Nile River, which stretches approximately 6,650 kilometers, passes through 11 countries in northeastern Africa. These countries, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda, depend on the Nile for their economies, cultures, and ecosystems. The Nile is not only a lifeline for millions of people, but also a witness to ancient history spanning millennia. Did you know that Alfred Hitchcock was terrified of eggs? Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, terrified millions with his cinematic genius. But he had a peculiar fear himself. He was scared of eggs. Hitchcock admitted that just seeing a cracked egg filled him with dread. For a man who created films that left audiences on the edge of their seats, this phobia seems completely paradoxical. How could someone who made us fear shower curtains and shadows be afraid of something as ordinary as an egg? It's one of the more surprising secrets of the great master of horror. Why has Antelope Canyon become a true mecca for photographers? Antelope Canyon in Arizona is one of the most visited and photographed natural sites in the United States. This narrow slot canyon features stunning light effects and shadow play, attracting travelers and professional photographers from around the world. The canyon boasts a pronounced wavy structure and extraordinary colors that shift depending on the time of day and the angle of light. Accessing the canyon requires a special permit, as it is located on Native American land. Did you know that ants never sleep? Ants are the real workaholics of the insect world. These amazing tiny creatures seem like they are non-stop working machines, constantly on the go, without ever pausing to rest. But the truth is, ants don't sleep the way we do. Instead, they take short breaks throughout the day to recharge their energy. Their remarkable strength and impressive teamwork make them one of the most successful and efficient species on Earth. It's truly mind-blowing when you realize just how resilient they are.